So I don't know if you heard, but I got bought in like last week.
Yeah. I was informed, which is good. I'm glad because I've been trying to get pretty much everyone who's like working in the warehouse to get bought in at some point if they can. So it's a good thing. Yay. Yay. I thought I was going to be the only woman forever. And did they do any sort of like onboarding for you at all? Or were they just like, you're bought in, congrats, and then that's it?
I was bought in. I asked Lang about stuff, and he's like, "Ask Gigi." Donnie told me to tell you about ask you about onboarding.
Okay, good. All right, I'll give the rundown. Real simple. There's a structure to the crew. Dons at the top. The ones you'll concern yourself with are mostly Lang and Luciano, but also Arush, Speedy. If you're around early in the mornings, you might have met him. And Harry as well. So they're sort of in charge. So anything that is like really crew relevant, need to know now. You just saw someone get shot, a war might happen, whatever, right? You just kind of tell them first and they'll get the information out there. When it comes to anything Moonshine related, I'm in charge of that. Anything farming related relating to Franks, that's Harry who's in charge of that. And then we have, you know, we have everything going on. So we do have people doing weed, we have people growing, and we have people pushing. Speedy and Luciano are mostly taking care of that. Speedy sort of in the morning, and then Luciano later in the day, around these hours.
Yeah.
And that's the majority of it. We do also have crews running heists. I don't know what you're interested in doing. I don't know what you want to do. If it's just like Moonshine and Frank's, and that's good to fill your time, or if you want to do other things. But
Okay, so
yeah. Do you have any like specific directions you want to go?
okay, so my goal is right now I'm trying to stay as clean as possible, but I know it's not going to last forever. So while I'm clean, I still want to do Moonshine on the side, and I work at Frank's. When I eventually get my felony, I do want to do heist and stuff and try hacking and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's going to be later on, I think.
Yeah, there is no rush. The way we have it structured right now is we have a main heist crew, and those are the people doing whatever the newest thing is. They're kind of R&Ding all that stuff. That has the people that are strongest with problem solving, with hacking, that kind of stuff. They go in, they do things, they figure it out. Once we know what to do, we have a second heist crew, which is really whoever's available at the time, whoever really wants to go on jobs. We try to put people in so everyone gets a chance. So that's usually where people go if they're like not very experienced in it, especially. And yeah, and so we have people get together and they're running like, you know, the laundromat, robbing the cash exchange, that kind of stuff. And it's an entirely separate computer. So
okay.
I don't know how much you know about the heists, but the way it went.
I don't know anything.
Okay, so the first thing you
well, I know the
rob,
laundromat and stuff like that, and the cash exchange.
And the way it was you could only rob the laundromat at first. So if you made a brand new HQ app on a computer and you started trying to get into that, you would only be able to rob the laundromat. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
So you do that and you get a colored USB. You keep doing it, you get all of the colors of the rainbow. Well, technically they have 6 USBs that you collect, and then you give them to a guy and he unlocks the next thing, which is the cash exchange, and now you can do that. So heists are sort of a progression sort of thing, right? So what we're working on right now is we have the second sort of crew of people working on this second app and trying to get that caught up. So main heist crew is doing all the newest stuff, and then I don't want to call it secondary because like they can do just as well at times, you know, as the main heist crew, but you know, the other app also is trying to sort of catch up, which is great. So if you want to get into that stuff, we don't have one particular person always in charge of running that right now. Sometimes it's Luciano, sometimes it's Clark.
Okay.
Clark is a captain. The 2 captains right now are Clark and Vito, and they are Clark is usually running like money cleaning. That's his main thing, and then Vito is helping people with weed pushing. He's re-upping people and keeping in charge of that. But those 2 as captains do sometimes have that leeway to go and start a heist, form a crew if they want to. And Luciano's been getting people together. He doesn't go on the secondary app ones himself, but he does organize people. And yeah, at some point we might assign one singular person to be in charge of that, but for right now it's really just whoever's available and wants to do something. And the goal is when we have enough of a crypto farm to be buying these contracts, we want to try doing a daily hit or every other day hit of something with that second app. So that's we're trying to get toward it. We just don't have the funds in crypto to 100% do it that often yet, but we're getting there. And yeah, and that's sort of the main thing. So we have a whole weed pipeline with people in charge, growers, pushers. We have Moonshine, which is again farming, cooking, and pushing, which I'm in charge of. Heisting is for that secondary app. It's whoever's around, usually the captains or Luciano, kind of going in and organizing it. Sometimes Speedy if you're around in the morning. And that is kind of it. You can always do things like chopping, anything that you have to take to the pawn shop, all of that kind of stuff. You could do it at any point in time. And anything that earns you illegal, like dirty cash, we can clean. You hand it to us and we have the whole kickback system. So my role is I'm one step below the Dons and I'm the treasurer. You would hand money to whoever's in charge of that pipeline and they'll note you down. So I think since you're mostly doing Moonshine, you can just hand everything to me and I'll take responsibility for that, for like marking down what you've done or, recording it. But yeah, if you're like, hey, I went shopping, I shopped a car, here's the $3,000 from it in dirty, I'll take that in and I'll note it down.
What about if it's clean? Can I just give it to you clean?
Yeah, if you do entirely civilian clean jobs, that's just your money and you can keep it. Okay. We pretty much only take a cut of things that are like dirty money. We don't really force anyone to, kick up any money to the crew from that. But if you're 100% clean and you never earn anything that's dirty money, which you should because you'll be doing Moonshine, but if you're not part of any of those pipelines, we do, if there's no way that you're currently contributing, sometimes we'll start taking dues from those people weekly just to kind of like give them a way to contribute. But yeah, so that's kind of, it's just you do what you want to do, be a part of the pipeline you want to be a part of, and then we have a different percentage split for every little thing.
Okay.
And yeah, so you just kind of follow the path. So if you're on Moonshine, that's great. That's a way to earn dirty cash. Yeah. You can do whatever part of it you want. If you're just interested in cooking, just farming, whatever, we can kind of work out time-wise how that can work for you. And then depending on what things you do, you get a little percentage split. Right now, the crew takes a 50% cut of everything that you do that's dirty that you're handing into us. And then in exchange, we not only go ahead and clean that money for you, but any expenses related to it are covered. So if you buy a Moonshine still, you tell me how much money you spent and I'll give you the money for it. You never pay anything up front. You use all the warehouse space, you use our seeds, right? Like there's no upfront cost to you. So that 50% covers all of that.
Okay.
And then in the future, we buy more spaces to do more things. When something new comes out, we spend all the money on the R&D for it. Guys, I was choked inside mid-sentence. Did you hear that?
Donnie was telling me that. Keep track of the ingredients for the Moonshine and the cooks and everything. Okay, so I've been doing Moonshine. Like I'm all over the place, right? So I'm obviously I'm not like bringing in a lot of money from Moonshine, but I haven't been keeping track. I have been keeping some money at the beginning because I wasn't even bought in. I was just mixing it with Devon's dirty money. But since I was bought in, I did keep some. I have it washed. I can give it to you here.
Got it. Okay. All you have to do is I have a notebook that's in the locked red toolbox in the warehouse. Okay. If it's Moonshine related or whatever, you write it in there. Just take a page, put your name at the top, and you'll see the format that everyone else does. You just say date, the thing that you did, and the money in for it. The way we're doing it for farming, because farming isn't like a direct money earner, it isn't until you get it pushed out that we can actually go and figure out what percent split, blah, blah, blah. What we do is we also write it in code just in case that warehouse ever gets raided. So when you farm enough for one Moonshine cook, we call it a bundle, right? Like a bundle of farmer's market vegetables so that it looks very legal. If you farm some and you're not cooking it yourself, you're just farming for the sake of other people having ingredients, just write like June 17th, one bundle farmed, and that's it. And that way it's in code, and if we ever get raided, they don't look at it and go, oh, Moonshine ingredients, or anything like that. If you cook it yourself, you don't need to mark that down. You could just write like June 17th, one bundle produced and sold is how we usually say it. Like you sold it off to someone.
Or sold it. Okay.
Whatever to show that it's just different. You cooked it yourself. Okay. And then at the end when it's been pushed out, you as the cook would choose who you're handing it to if you'd like. In the future, which I think by the time you're cooking, we should be having this. We have a guy named Sai. I think you've met Sai maybe.
Yeah.
Sai is going to help with distribution. So you can just cook crates and give them to him, and he will get it pushed out, whether he's doing it himself or he's having someone else do it. And then he'll come back to you, and he'll give the money to me, and he'll just write it down and be like, okay, I have something that's farmed and cooked by Liya, and it's sold for this. And he'll track all of that. So if you don't want to push it yourself, that is the easiest way, is to just have Sai take it. And that's it. He has a house that is a spot for that. I don't know if he gave you access to it.
He gave me access. I just need to get a key cutter for it.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, he's going to have a whole system there. So even if you're doing test cooks, right, you need to know every single crate what it individually sold for. You can put it down in a certain spot in that house and be like, this is crate 1A, this is crate 1B, or whatever, and keep it all marked down on yours. And then he'll make sure he marks down what they all sell for so that your data is not skewed or any of that. But yeah, so Sai will be the go-to for all the pushing. But you are totally welcome to contact other people if you want that are in the crew or friends or whatever, and just be like, hey, do you want to push a crate, and then just hand me the money. And the way I do it is pushers get 10%. So you can just say you pushed it yourself, and then I can give you that and you can pay that person out. Or if it's someone in the crew, just write down that they pushed it.
Okay.
So just be like, oh, I had, who's bought it? I had Donnie push this crate, right?
Okay.
So June 17th, one bundle farmed and sold, and then just put like Donnie, just put his name on it, and then the full amount. And that gives me all the info I need to know to attribute like all the different parts of the work to each people, all of the money that I need to split out for them, and all of that.
About that warehouse. I just paid the bills off, and Lang told me I can tell you like how much I paid for it.
Yes. I'll cover all of that with the crew funds.
Okay, I'll go back to the courthouse and I'll text. Do you want me to text it to you, or do you want me to call you and tell you?
I think texting it is fine. Just text me like minus 100K, and I'll be like,
Okay.
all right, and I'll get it to you.
Okay, what else? Okay, so I'll just tell you like what I have. Like,
Yeah.
so okay, yeah, Moonshine. Obviously, I'm trying to do
It's
that,
just
but
calm.
obviously it's a bit slower because I do work at Frank's most of the time.
Yeah, it cuts into your time, definitely.
So, but it's going to be a slow process, but I'm definitely working on that every day. I know that there's a whole weed system down, but if there's ever an emergency, I am a master grower. I was the grower for the lumber union. So, like,
Oh, okay.
ever you guys need an emergency grow, I can do that. And then
Yeah, I love Liya too, guys.
I have the trailer, which produces like 50 to 70 buckcoin a day, so I can help contribute with that.
Okay. Yeah, and that'd be good if you're interested in doing those heists at some point. You know, just throwing into that is good.
I know Devon is always selling buckcoin, but there's always like 1,000 buckcoin there sitting around, which I
Right.
don't mind sharing.
Noted. Okay, I know. So the Dons are very like they don't want to take donations, right? They don't want to just
Yeah.
take stuff from people because they never want to feel or leave anyone feeling like
Yeah,
they're in
I
any way
know.
owed. So
I'm so used to like lumber company. It was like just they just take everything. Everybody just
you just
everything.
pool
It's-
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so different than here. So I'm just like used to just giving everything.
Yeah, we keep it very like we have a crew cut that comes out of everything, but it's a
Yeah.
hard number because we want it to be super fair across
Yeah,
everyone,
that's
and it's
good.
simply like you get out what you put in kind of thing. But yeah, so something like Buttcoin contributions, you could either keep your farm and sell Buttcoin to us occasionally, like we'll just
Okay,
buy it,
okay.
or
People happy.
you can sell us the equipment and just merge the farm with our stuff, and then we just handle it, like whatever you want. I can ask the
Okay.
guys though, because that depends on like how much can we fit in a property, that kind of stuff. But yeah, up to you. I think maybe you keeping it and selling it, and just when you have a lot,
Yeah.
just let Lang know. He's usually the one that's sitting there and like working around what coin we have. Do we have enough for this contract? Whatever. He's the one.
Yeah.
So when you see him at Frank's, just like on the side, let him know. Be like, by the way, I have this much if you need it. And
Okay.
at some point, he'll definitely tap you and be like, oh my god, I need it today, and buy it from you.
Honestly, my goal
Yeah.
is like stay clean as possible for as long as I can, and then cooking stuff, producing stuff, growing stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, whenever if something new pops out, I'm gonna try doing that as well.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's likely that I'm going to be like head R&D person, right? So right now I'm heading Moonshine, but at some point Moonshine will just stay where it is and there will be a new thing. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking what will happen at that point is I'll probably hand all logistics to someone else on it and then work on the new thing. And then once we've
Okay.
R&D'd it, then I
Move
put
on to
people
the
in.
new thing.
Yeah, I decide like, okay, do we keep with Moonshine? Do we have our people move over to it? You know, like right now
Yeah.
we're like the Moonshine crew, but I do think it will just be the production crew over time, right? And
Over
some
time,
people
yeah,
will
yeah,
stay
yeah.
on some things, but some stuff might get abandoned eventually. Not yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's good if you're interested in that, because that's kind of how we're going with it. So we do have our weed people. They are not working on our Moonshine, for example.
Okay.
But when the next thing
Yeah.
comes out, basically it's going to be between weed and Moonshine people. We're going to see like after it's R&D'd who moves over to it, you know.
Yeah.
But that's good to know that you want to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, for now Moonshine is going. Just so you know, we have the 4 grow beds, and to farm up enough for 5 cooks worth of ingredients, those 4 grow beds are exactly like the amount you need, with only like a couple spaces left over, maybe 2 spaces.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know this, but one Moonshine cook can run 5 advanced stills max at one time. They cannot put down anymore and cook on more than that at a time. So Donnie's probably going to run 5 stills at some point, right? Because he just kind of is living and breathing Moonshine. I was thinking about doing that, but also there will be a lot of times, because I am main heist crew. That is my main thing that I do, and that's my priority. There will be days where I wake up and I'm like, okay, well, my couple of hours are going to be spent doing all this and not doing Moonshine for a bit. So I think what I want to do is maybe have 2-3 stills myself, and then if you are also running a couple stills, I'll leave them in that warehouse warehouse, and if I am not cooking and you want to cook, you can just text me and be like, can I use them? And I'll be like, yeah, if I'm not going to for a while. So between us, we can just have more stills running, but not have to buy like 100 and then leave them unused, you know?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think that'd be good. And that way, with those 4 grow beds, you know, Donnie is up, does his grows a little bit before storm usually, or right at storm, and starts cooking. Right after that, then you or I start, and we get 5 cooks worth of stuff, and then we have like 2 and 3 stills each, or we have 5 to one of us, you know.
Yeah.
I think that would work. And then we're also going to have Jason cooking, but she's going to be around later, so I don't think we need to worry about farming space then.
Okay.
And it's basically just the 4 of us. I think it would be nice to get more grow beds, just so we don't have to worry about space. And if we all want to run 5 stills, we can go crazy with it. But we're not there yet. Yeah, I might add a second floor above, like where the lights are. In the future. Yeah. We'll get there. But
okay, so it's me, you, Donnie, and Jason.
Right. Those are the cooks right now. You and anyone else are always welcome to, if you have your own property, especially if it's commercial and you can put grow beds in it, to just do your own farming and just let me know if you want to use our seeds, and like I can approve it, and then just kick that up to the crew and whatever. I might even do my own little separate warehouse, because I heard you can only have up to 8 grow beds in a property regardless of the size. Okay. Yeah.
Hopefully Cyprus opens up some warehouses.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, and I want to get like a small one for myself in there, and that way, if we have a lot of people trying to cook at once, we do not have to worry about space. But we're not there yet, so. But yeah, that's where things are right now. You are free to do whatever you want. If you want to farm and you don't see anyone using space, just start using it. You don't really have to ask or anything like that. If someone else is around and you know they might farm, just ask and be like, how much space are you using, you know, and split it with them. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
I'll ask you for the seeds when I get my advanced distillery.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, Moonshine is such a grind. Oh my god.
I know. It's a grind, but it's nice. You just drive out somewhere, place a still down, cook a little, you know? It's not too bad. I'm glad we got Liya. I really like that the Moonshine op is filled with like undramatic, unbothered, calm, flourishing in their lane people, you know? You look at like the other ops and it's like a sitcom, right? And then you look at our op and everyone's like, hey, so I wrote that down for you. Oh, good morning. Hope you're doing well. It's just like, it's so nice. It's so nice. Yeah, we don't talk about other ops.